Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tarot with Titania reading of the week for March 8th to the 15th, 2024. I invite you to close your eyes and take 3 nice deep breaths with me. Let's get our energies into sync across time and space. And just imagining a tree root coming down out of the base of your spine, going down deep into Mother Earth and grounding you here and now in this present moment, knowing that this tree root is not only anchoring you and pulling you into the now moment, but it is also a conduit through which anything that no longer serves you can easily pass down into Mother Earth and become compost for your new good growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here with all of your children now and in the future. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information we most need to receive right now, and to provide this in a manner that we will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for our personal and our collective highest and greatest good. I call upon my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening now and in the future, as well as an overlighting angel of communication, to be present and facilitate this exchange, ensuring that it happens in the highest and best way possible, and that we cover all that is in our hearts and minds for this week of March 8th to the 15th, 2024, for our personal and collective highest and greatest good. At this time, I'd like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, creating a sacred container of love, of light, of wisdom, of healing, of transformation, of peace, of grounding, of whatever it is that we need most at this time. Body, mind, heart, and spirit may be gathered and held here in this incredible circle of light that holds us all. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for coming. Anything that doesn't match the intentions and frequencies of love, of light, of clarity, wisdom, and all the other good things we've called in, if you don't match that, you're welcome to go now. Thank you very much. All right, and with that, let's begin. All right, Creator, so what is it that we most need to know right now for our personal and collective highest and greatest good? So we can bring our best to the table this week for ourselves, for each other, for the good of this planet. What is it that we need to know so we can rise higher and better, embracing all that we are, the ups and downs and all arounds, and integrating what we know and learn in good ways so that we can bring our best to the world in service to love and life. Okay. Here we go, starting with signals. 8 of Wands. Wands, creativity, inspiration, and passion, the generative potential that we all hold inside of us. And this card, she's standing on a base of rose. The rose is the symbol of love, but it's also desire, and purified desire is the white rose. This is sort of a pink rose. Red roses signify passion. So she's standing here in this beautiful, rosy, loving space, loving herself, loving the energies that she's pulling towards her. We have all these rays of communication, of information coming towards her, and as they reach her, they burst into bloom. So there's all this life and energy and goodness to be had that's coming her way. This is sitting in the recent past position, which means that it's things that we know from our past that are relevant to our now and our future. So this knowing how to pull in what we need, knowing how to pull in the inspiration, knowing how to move ourselves in that direction is relevant now. And if you're not exactly sure how to do this, I invite you to think back on times in your life when you were inspired, you were excited, you were motivated by things, and tap into that energy. And if you've been listening for a while, you know I talk a lot about the yes. And the yes is the field of energy that life is calling us towards. It's all of those things that are unique to us and that we're excited about, that inspire us, that pull us to more life. It's life calling us to more life. That's what I like to call the yes. And so if you've lost touch with your yes, I encourage you to think back on times in your life when you had that inspiration, you had that motivation, and go back to those threads and maybe pick them up again. because that energy, even if it's from your childhood, is part of the uniqueness that was you. Even if it was like dinosaurs when you were 3, there was something there that triggered you, that inspired you. And it's more about the tapping into the frequency of that will help you to get into the vicinity of it in your now. And for example, this can be, I give the example of knitting or basket weaving. These can be beautiful things that we do for ourselves that have no useful purpose otherwise in life other than to make something and to have the satisfaction of making it, of using our hands, because we don't live in the kind of world where we have to make things for ourselves or each other. We have stores and machines and all of that kind of stuff, which is in a way unfortunate because the value of things that were made back then, it was a completely different energy. But we can still call on that energy. We can still call on that enthusiasm. We can still pepper it through our lives to give our have-tos good energy, bring our frequency up so that we can be at our best in contributing our most uplifting and generative qualities to life. So this is sitting in the recent past, this idea of signals, of getting our heads up, of looking around at what's inspiring to us. What is it that we want to be connecting to? What is it that fills us with inspiration and joy? And as I said, if you don't know what that is, then that's your homework. It's time to get back in contact with yourself and find out what inspires you, what motivates you, what fills you with enthusiasm, or at least some good energy. And again, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be going for a walk outside in the fresh air and watching nature come back to life. It doesn't have to be a capitalized thing. It can simply be something that brings you joy and renews you and energizes you. But that's important. We need to know this. This is relevant into our future as we're going forward here. We need to know what our yes is. It's important. So getting in touch with that is going to be important for all of us going forward, because the yes is where the people that we want to connect with are. The yes is where the opportunities are. The yes is where our skills will be brought to bear. The yes is where we're going to connect with others and make amazing things happen. But we need to listen to that highest enthusiasm and say yes to it every day. Lots of yeses, I know. Yes is important. The present card, we have the Moon, Major Arcana, Key 18. We had this card last week, and the Moon, as you may remember from that, is all about making friends with the darker aspects of life that we're not comfortable with, the things about ourselves that maybe we would rather people don't know about. And we don't necessarily have to tell anybody else about who we are, but we do need to be peaceful with it within ourselves. We need to make friends with ourselves and love all of ourselves. And it's not an easy task. We are very human, and we have our judgments, and we make ourselves wrong. And we hold ourselves apart from ourselves, hold ourselves apart from the well-being and the comfort that comes when we do make friends with ourselves and we ally with ourselves and we work with ourselves to be the best that we can be, knowing that all aspects are important. Every challenging thing we've been through is in service to our goodness and our greatness. It's an opportunity for us to clarify who we are, what's important, who we'd rather be, and then giving ourselves permission to move in that direction. So the Moon card is important. It's really important for us to learn to befriend ourselves, to be our own best friend, to be there in support of ourselves, to have a romantic relationship with ourselves, to be in love with ourselves and with life. All of that is important. The other aspect of the Moon card that is important is sleep. And as we talked about last week and other times, sleep is when the body regenerates. Sleep is when our spirit goes and visits our spirit family. It's when our mind makes sense of the day. It's when we process our emotions. When we sleep, it's a reset. It's an opportunity to heal and regenerate and reset. So it's very, very, very important. And I would say that at this time on the planet, it's especially important because there are so many energies running at this time. I was listening to Rory Duff, who works with the energy ley lines, and he says that's what's happening on the planet is the ley lines are expanding. They used to be a certain width, and that width doubled, and now it's gotten wider again, meaning that the energies lines on the planet are expanding to cover all of the planet. There won't be any place that won't have that energetic influence. So we used to go to special places, ceremonial sites, etc., to gather and have ceremony on these sites where the nodes would cross, etc. But we're going to find that it's all sacred, and indeed it is, but it's definitely becoming more so. Rory Duff. I'll see if I can put it in the link below if you want to find out more. So this idea of making friends with ourselves, of resting, of giving ourselves a chance to integrate, of making peace with ourselves, forgiving ourselves for not being the kind of person we would have liked ourselves to be all the time. Maybe there's things in our past that we haven't been able to let go of. And rising to a place of neutrality and objectivity, seeking to find a bit of space between us and the feelings of those times, and considering ourselves with love, regardless of how heinous it was. Whatever it was that we are at that time, it was the best we could do at that time. It was all we knew. And if you really get stuck, I recommend the work of Brad Yates, EFT master. He has a YouTube channel. Hundreds of tapping rounds. You don't need to have to know how to do EFT. You don't need to know how it works or what it does. It's a way to calm the autonomic stress response system, but it's portable. You can do it by yourself. I would recommend going to his channel on YouTube, Brad Yates, Y-A-T-E-S. Find a video that relates to what you're going through or what you're stuck on, and follow along with Brad. Just tap through it and repeat if you need to. But just notice how it lightens you a little bit, how it creates a bit of space between you and the event so that you can be a little bit more objective, a little bit more curious, a little kinder. That kind of space is helpful for us as we do the work of the moon, as we learn to make friends and integrate who we are, who we've been, and get clear about where we want to go as a result of that. So major arcana, important for our soul growth. And then we have the Empress, one of my favorite cards in the deck. So the Empress, number 3, is about multiplication. So she is in this beautiful garden, and it's high summer, and it's a time of harvest and fertility and abundance and beauty. She's often portrayed as being pregnant, but it's that expectant abundance of life bursting forth, and there being lots of good things to enjoy about life. So this is in the near future. It's the energy that we're moving towards, this quality of the Empress. And the Empress, as I said, she's generative. She's fertile. It's very, very creative imagination. That's the energy of the Empress. And so as we're moving collectively, reconnecting with our joy, with our enthusiasm, with our inspiration, processing our stuff, because that's what's happening right now. There's a lot of energy up on the planet, and it's pushing our buttons. So those buttons that we haven't made peace with, well, they're being lit up right now. And it's a chance for us to do our good work, to make friends with ourselves, to love ourselves, to heal ourselves, to forgive others. And I don't mean that as in making other people, absolving them of their part. It's more about creating space and peace within you, so you can be at peace and whole within yourself, loving and kind to yourself in that clean and clear energy space. And when we do that, we free up our energy to go into this space of generative possibility. The Empress is about creating. She's artistic. She's, as I said, she's the queen of generation. She's making children. She's making gardens. She's making food. She's making that lovely energy of abundance. And that's when we clean things up and we reconnect with our source, which is that source of inspiration within us, that joy spark that exists in all of us. We then go into this mode. We go into creativity, imagination. How do we pull this through? And we do need to imagine the future that we want to see. So right now, we're being fed lots and lots and lots of messages by the media, etc. And a lot of it is very fear-based. A lot of it is very much about, getting us into fear rather than into possibility. And I would encourage you just to observe. Just observe where it takes you. Where do you land in your body? Are you even in your body? Where do those triggers take you? And can you create some space around that so that you can get curious and wonder a little bit more about that and take back your power from those triggers? Because that's what this work is all about, is taking our power back so that we have it to use in new, good, wonderful ways. Like this, dreaming a beautiful future. Dreaming a beautiful future for yourself. And what would that beautiful future look like for everyone? I have ideas of what that would be. I'm sure you do too. We all have ideas. We've seen these beautiful movies, I think like Miyazaki movies, where there's beautiful puffy white clouds and blue skies kind of like that are peeking out here, and lots of greenery and beautiful trees and friendly beings that we coexist with. That kind of energy. I mean, let yourself go wild if you want. There's nothing wrong with dreaming up a world where that's the truth. And for some of us, it is the truth. That is how people live, in this constant unfolding of wonder and joy and peace, which is, as I know, it's difficult in these times when we are in a state of, it's a time when it seems to be that fear is really being pushed on us, and yet we won't solve this through fear. We have to solve this through love. We have to solve this through making friends with ourselves and befriending ourselves and loving ourselves and being open to the inspiration and taking our lives in the direction of more of this beautiful future. Because the more of us that can hold these frequencies and the energies, the more it helps to elevate the whole field of humanity. And we all work together then to create something magnificent. And those who hold the higher frequencies of love, of light, of peace, of joy, of well-being, individuals holding that can elevate masses who are holding lower frequencies. So that's why, although maybe on some level it feels selfish to go into your little bubble and have a happy little life, but ultimately understanding that we are all connected and we can't suffer enough to change anything for anyone else. But we can thrive, we can love, we can heal, we can take care of ourselves and those close to us. We can be sources of love and light and inspiration in our own lives and the lives of those we love and those around us. That's what we can do. And if, as each of us picks that up and holds a little bit more of a clearing for love and light, that is what will transform the planet into this incredible possibility space of gardens. Think beautiful gardens full of fruit and flowers and fragrances and birds and lovely creatures. And, well, I better stop there before the other part of me starts talking about other things. But what was coming to mind was snakes, in case you were wondering, and I'm not super enthusiastic about those. But talking about beautiful gardens and thriving with life. Okay. I can pull myself back here and get back on track. So that's what we're moving towards. That's the quality of energy we want to be cultivating. It's what we want to be looking for. Tapping into that generative potential, even if it's a little project, gets us into that creative mode, that mode of making something out of nothing, of imagining something real. It's one of the great, great superpowers of the human race, is that we are imaginative and we create from that imaginative space. And so tapping into the power of this is very powerful for all of us. And the foundation card for this week, we have the card of abundance of pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles, which is another beautiful card. It's sort of similar to this quality of energy because there's just so much life here. We have the tree and it's full of the stars representing sort of fruit and life. And here's that beautiful bird I was just mentioning, in the jungle of life. She's standing on a rose, again, flowers and roses. So that symbol of that desire, that purified desire to be a clearing for the good and doing it abundantly. The universe is abundant. I'm not talking about tapping yourself out and draining your bank account and putting yourself in a disadvantaged position, because we do need to take care of ourselves in human form. But we all have skills, we all have resources, we all have gifts that we can bring to bear. And in sharing them in appropriate ways, we are adding to life in beautiful ways and increasing this generative field of abundance. Think of generosity and the energy of that word and the energy of the word abundance. It's the frequency more than anything that we need to tap into at this point. Think about nature. Nature makes a tree full of seeds. Think about a sunflower and all the seeds that are in a sunflower. There are hundreds of seeds in a sunflower to make new sunflowers out of, and even more seeds if you think about it that way. That's the energy of abundance. That's the energy of nature. That's the energy of this planet. And the programming around scarcity, yes, it's very strong and we've been under it for a long time. But our natural state is one of abundance, of generosity, of giving freely of our gifts and our abilities. And so finding ways to tap into that part of us that we really are, and give in ways that are congruent and aligned with that yes, with that enthusiasm, with our talents and abilities, and it feels good. And I'm sure we've all had moments of this. We know what this feels like, and that's what I want to pull you into the vortex of, is this energy of the fullness and richness and abundance of life, and how we are each cooperative components of that and facilitators of that and generators of that for ourselves, for those around us, and for the world at large, because we're all here. We're all here to make our contribution, whatever that may be. It's really lovely reading this week. So yes, we have work to do. Making friends with ourselves, claiming all of ourselves, reclaiming those lost parts. The child hanging out in the closet who's upset because of things that have happened. It's time to gather that little child up, hold her in a lap, and make friends with her again. Let her know it's safe and it's okay, and we've got this, and we're working together. And the more of us who do this work and hold this incredible space, the more, as I said, it shifts the collective human field. And we all know how important that work is right now. And so even if you're by yourself in your little place in the corner of the planet, having your happy little life, thank you, because you're contributing magnificently. And by doing this work, however steadily, however consistently, whatever we can do is helping to transform the collective experience in wonderful ways and create room. So the foundation again this week is this energy of abundance, tapping into that field of largesse. I think about taking that breath of air like I just did. Join me in one, bringing in life. We have an abundance of oxygen around us. Again, another symbol of the abundance of life. Think about the ocean and all the drops of water that exist in the water. Think about the qualities of that kind of abundance. And then tap into that field and let it become part of who you are and rejig you in good ways. I think that's pretty clear. Let's move on to our summary card, our card to grow on. I'm happy to see the Empress. As I said, she's one of my favorite cards. So I guess as a creative, she represents what being a creative is all about. Developing and using our gifts in magnificent ways to make the world more beautiful, not just for ourselves, but for everyone who comes in contact with our work and our contributions. And that's a fabulous energy to just be tapped into. Creator, what is it that we need to know? Our summary card for this week. If we were just going to summarize this reading in a really concise and useful manner, what would be most helpful for us to take away so that we can carry it in our hearts and minds and spirits this week and nourish ourselves on all levels so that we can spring forward and continue to unfold the goodness that's in all of us in our own way magnificently. So, the Prince of Swords. So, swords is ideas and action. It's the suit of air. And princes are knights in other decks. Mine, they're princes. And, just they're on big horses and they've got lances and shields and stuff, and just like a knight does. And there's this quality of charging around, of the energy changing. That's what this is talking about. There is a lot of energy changing at this time. And there's opportunities to change our thoughts. There's opportunities to take action in new ways. There's just that quality of change on the level of the mind and actions that's here, of movement, of difference, of things being different than they've been. And we know that. That's what we're witnessing. Things are changing, but not everything. Some things remain the same. We are humans. We're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we're becoming more conscious of that. That's changing, but we're still in a human body. We still have to take care of this beautiful human body. And we're on the planet here, and we depend on this beautiful planet for our clean air and our clean water and our clean food. We are all dependent on the earth, and so we need to take care of her. That hasn't changed. We need to be in right relationship to ourselves, to each other, and this planet and all life here. These are things that aren't changing. But the outer trappings of our current system and models and whatnot, those are changing. And we don't know what they're going to be yet. I mean, that's it. We're in a process of transformation. As Charles Eisenstein likes to say, we're between stories. And it's an uncomfortable place to be. But just remembering that this is a time of transformation. It is a time of change. It's a time for us to grow and become different. Time for us to return to ourselves, to our joy, to our enthusiasm, to our loves, and to bring that into life a little bit more. And so I would just suggest that what is changing is not to be grieved, because what we're moving towards is so beautiful. Think about that Empress card. That quality of energy that we are moving towards is so deeply nourishing and fulfilling and abundant and generative. Imagine a world where each of us could really show up and really be supported in developing who we are and what we're excited about, so that we could come together with others and co-create with them and make wonderful things happen. That's the quality of this energy with this card at this time for us. Remember, we're moving towards something. We're moving towards something, not away from something. So if you find that you're getting caught up in running away energy, the fear energy, take a deep breath. Come back to you and go, okay, rather than running away from, what do I want to move towards? I want to move towards. Remember that. It's a very different energy of moving towards what we want rather than running away from what we don't want. And that's our card to grow on this week, this quality of distinguishing what we want and moving towards it, saying yes to it. And so that is our reading for March 8th to the 15th, 2024. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for bringing your energy here this week. Once again, I really appreciate it. I invite you to close your eyes and take a nice deep breath with me, and we'll close this reading in this circle. The good magic of that breath. It is amazing. Creator, this is your daughter, Titania. Thank you for the opportunity to be of service again this week and to provide this reading for our personal and collective highest and greatest good. I want to thank all those who helped to hold this space today, all those in human form and all those who are on the other side, the grandmothers, the grandfathers, the angels, the guides, the guardians, all those who stand with us and love us and are holding good space for us so that we may rise and become all that we are here to be. Thank you. Thank you for reflecting our light back to us and helping us to transform this earthly experience in good ways. Help us to stay focused in good ways on our light, those things that bring us to more love and light, and help us to nourish them so that we and ourselves, so that we can move in the direction of delight and creative imagination and gardens of possibility for our good, the good of all those we love, the good of humanity, and the good of our relationship to this beautiful planet and all the other life that is here too. Thank you, Creator, for this opportunity to be alive at this time. I am grateful to be able to do this work, and so it is. Thank you for being here. As I said, much love and light, and I will look forward to seeing you again next Friday. Take good care. Bye for now.